Okay, here we go. What's up, everybody? Sunday night, December 20th, 2020. Ho, 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 ho. 5 days away from Christmas. And we witnessed a murder tonight on the TLC pay-per-view recap. Now, I just want to let everybody know, originally, this was going to be a solo recap, so I had everything set up for the solo. But due to Joey Numbers not feeling all that great today, as you can see in the little ticker, Mish is here with me tonight to give you your TLC pay-per-view recap. Mish, are you there?
I am live. Welcome to Wrestling Soup. I am Anthony Missionary Thomas, joined along with Don Tony, filling in tonight for Joey Numbers. Joey Numbers has been feeling a little down for people that don't know, but he'll be back coming up this week. We'll see him definitely for some Wrestling Soup and maybe even a little Frank and Gus action. But yeah, murder indeed. He did final off tonight.
I mean, you know, look, you know, this is probably one benefit that you have with Thunderdome and LED screens and not actually people there. When you don't have actual fans around the ringside area, and for health and safety code, you don't have anybody around ringside at all other than safety personnel, you get away with things like this. I mean, you know, this was pretty much a no DQ match with a lot of, you know, fire behind the ring and behind, you know, the ringside area. But I tell you, you know, I think that this was, look, you look at TV from the 90s. You go back and you look at when we used to watch Raw and Nitro from the 90s, you know, video was not high definition. It was not 1080p as far as I could recall. You know, so when you go back and you watch old wrestling, you know, the quality is not as good. But now, 4K, high definition, tonight was pretty much an upgrade from the Inferno match back in the day when we saw Kane get his arm on fire. But I tell you, did you ever think they were going to go full mannequin mode? And, you know, I mean, look, didn't Jim Ross get set on fire? Didn't Kane throw Jim Ross in fire once, or was it the opposite?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean mannequin? That was actually Bray Wyatt getting lit on fire, right?
I don't think, 480p was the best teen game, and 480p, man. But, no, I mean, Mish is obviously joking around, everybody.
Of course. I mean, last time we saw the Inferno match, I think we had our high, what was it, 220 lines of definition. That's what we were working with on our TV. But, yeah, no, I'm okay with it. You know, this is one of the positives of it. And this is one of the things that it's taken WWE a long time to come around to, is to realize how to use these empty arenas to their advantage. So I'm pretty fucking happy with the idea that they planned on murdering Bray Wyatt tonight. And I'm kind of cool with the whole – and you know what? There's going to be – and here's the thing that I can already see. I can already fucking smell it. There's going to be a lot of backlash. Okay, well, now you've killed a person. Now what? What are you guys going to do next? You just killed someone. There's nothing else you guys can do. And it's like, this is storyline mode. Bray Wyatt is a supernatural character. The Fiend is a supernatural character. This is no different than The Undertaker rising with the lightning. Remember when he was a ghost and he rose to the sky and everybody was like, oh my God, it's the ghost of The Undertaker. Same shit, guys. Like, I can already see the fucking backlash. I hope there isn't. And overall, the pay-per-view, 50-50. I will say that there is definitely some sleeper matches that were going on tonight, and there was a couple of finishes that I really fucking shook my head at, but there was some good. There absolutely was some good. I really fucking enjoyed the hell out of this match. I thought Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, even with all the interference and all the fuckery, the match was good. Wasn't too fucking crazy about that finish, though.
Low blow.
Yeah, well, no, the sleeper on the fucking ladder. I was like,
oh yeah. I mean, when you're wiped out and you have gotten destroyed, it's pretty easy to put somebody to sleep like that, But the low blow and the sleeper, I had no problem with it. I've been praising this feud because, as I said on Friday, it is very, very difficult. Over the years, the best feuds is when you can't pick a winner. And when you could clear-cut pick a winner of a match, that takes away a lot of the suspension of disbelief because there's no way that Roman Reigns is losing the title right now. So because the outcome is already predictable, you have to have a really solid storyline, or you have to have two excellent performers because you could get past the suspension of disbelief. You could get past, like, oh, Roman's winning. Oh, come on. There's no suspense to that. What you got tonight was pretty much the exclamation point of what you've been saying and I've been saying, that Kevin Owens is one of the MVPs in WWE. He doesn't have the quintessential body of, some of the pro wrestlers over the years, but he's got all the tools. The guy is willing to put his body on the line, took a beating, and, is so believable in what he does. Both of them did a phenomenal job tonight. Yeah. So
actually, I thought that they gave a lot to Kevin Owens, because going into this, I don't think there's anybody that really believed that Kevin Owens was going to win this. But I think throughout the match, once again, this goes to people that can tell a story. And throughout that match, I started believing just for a fucking minute second.
Could it be? Possibly.
Yeah, there was a couple times I'm like, really? Kevin Owens? They're not going to give it to Kevin Owens, are they? So it was fun, at least,
Yeah. By the way, I did notice that SoFly Bimore, Bray Wyatt, early in the match, if you saw when they had the close-up on him, he was missing one of his contact lenses.
Yeah.
I thought that maybe it had to do with the burning the other day. Maybe the contact lens was burnt in the fire. I mean, I mean, he obviously couldn't find it. When you go in the back and you got makeup and all this stuff going on, there'd be about 20 people that would notice the missing contact lens right away. But it's just funny that, they just went out there anyway. I mean, look, you lose a contact, but you would think they'd have 2, 3, 4. I mean, you and I, when we do shows, we have like 2, 3, 4 backup recordings going at the same time. You'd think that Bray Wyatt would have, like, you open up a little case and it'd be like 20 contact lenses.
Well, do you think it might have been part of the storyline? Do you think that they might have actually chosen to do something like that? Because those colored contacts aren't actual prescription contacts.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're just decoration. But do you think that it might have been telling a story? And what the fuck happened to Alexa Bliss?
Yeah.
Wasn't that supposed to be one of the lead-ins tonight? Is that Alexa Bliss was going to be here tonight?
I mean, she's on vacation. She recently got engaged. Congrats. We've talked about that already. But you would think that when Randy Orton was dousing the mannequin with gasoline, that maybe Alexa Bliss would come out running. Oh my God. Because this is where the storyline gets screwed up. This is where I don't know if anybody's thought about this, but this is where the storyline gets screwed up. If you follow the Alexa Bliss part of this storyline, Alexa Bliss was enamored with the Fiend. If you remember, the whole thing with Lexi and Alexa, they talk about Bray Wyatt, but when it came to the Fiend, That's where she transformed and had this infatuation. So if the Fiend is quote unquote dead for the time being, and we just get Bray Wyatt himself as like, oh, the Fiend, you know, but this is Bray. Like, what does that do with Alexa Bliss? And in storyline purposes, why was Alexa Bliss not there to help the person that she is enamored with? She's part. I mean, does it make sense that she just shows up at the Firefly Fun House, and because she's cute to look at and she's doing great in her job, and she puts up the pain and the fear, whatever that they were supposed to forget in storyline? Like, why wasn't she there today? You know, they should have done like a pre-recorded thing where Bray Wyatt tells her, stay with the puppets. You know,
right.
Do not get involved. This.
Right.
You can't have the Fiend do that because the Fiend technically doesn't talk. But you know, it was good. It was good, and we got a surprise return tonight. We got a surprise return. A lot of you out there thought that it could likely be Charlotte returning. I said on Friday's show, you know, I would have loved for it to be Kairi Sane, but realistically, I thought it was going to be Charlotte. I honestly thought that Charlotte was going to return and turn on Asuka, because if you go back and you watch that match, there's a weird dynamic about that. You know, Charlotte and Asuka were feuding, and then Charlotte got injured, and you know, Asuka as a surprise partner, and other than winning the titles, they did not show any, you know, like team camaraderie. You know what I mean? Like, it just looked like two total strangers.
Oh, any scissoring?
Yeah, you know, but no, during the match, you don't see them like really like, you know, as a cohesive unit. It just felt like, put it this way, for long parts of this match, even though Asuka was in there most of the time getting the beatdown, you would have never even thought that Asuka and Charlotte were teaming in that match. Like, you didn't see them. I mean, obviously they're not going to talk their game and everything because of the language barrier, but Charlotte makes her return. And lo and behold, you know, we had an interesting outcome happen tonight, which we could talk about in a little bit.
Well, let's start breaking down the matches and stuff. Just real quick though, for people that know, and people that don't know, after Wrestling Soup that we're doing this here, we're going to do about an hour together, myself and DT. Afterwards, we're going to do a half hour of some call-ins off the air of DT for the Discord and the Mixler listeners as well. And then obviously you yourself are going to be answering questions from the chat as well. So that we're going to split the show off from there. But let's start running down the matches. I guess the first match on the card that we had was the impromptu 8-man tag team match. Yeah,
and Prince, I'll get back to yours in a couple of moments, Prince, when we get to that. But yeah, we had the kickoff match, Chad Gable, Otis, Daniel Bryan, and Big E versus Sami Zayn, King Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro. What did you think of that match?
You know what? It was kind of a thrown together match. It didn't make much sense. I mean, it really came down to, you know, Big E pinned Sami Zayn, right? I think that's
he did. What happened. He hit the big ending, and he beat Sami Zayn. And by the way, a lot of people may not be aware of this, but this Friday on SmackDown, we will have Sami Zayn versus Big E for the Intercontinental Championship.
Which will be interesting. They're obviously creating a feud between those two guys. So, I mean, it made sense as far as that goes. But it just felt like this was a way to get some people out of catering for a little bit. You know, it just, like, I don't know. I mean, what's Chad Gable doing lately? You know, and it was nice to see Daniel Bryan out there again. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Chad Gable-Otis pairing, especially after Otis's interview last week, because he gave us a little behind the scenes as far as his longtime friendship with Chad Gable goes way back. So it's cool to know that and then see this dynamic. It's not just two random people put together. But this helped Otis today. This helped Chad Gable a little bit. I tell you, I feel like they missed the boat with Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn going at it a little bit, because remember, they had that little back and forth a couple of weeks ago. And just think about their independent wrestling careers. Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn would be fire. And, You know, maybe that still happens. I don't know, but I think
Big E needs it more right now. Big E is the guy that a lot of people have been waiting for. Obviously, you know, him no longer being a part of or an indirect part of the New Day. I mean, even though he has a singles career right now, he's still affiliated with those guys. But I think right now Big E needs a little bit more attention paid to him. So if he can go through Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn can do, you know, make Big E look strong, make Big E look like a single star some more, then more power to it. I understand, though, what you're saying about Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn, though. That does obviously elicit a lot of ROH fans from back in the day and kind of bring that back to light. So nice hat, by the way.
Yeah, I have a shirt with the word shirt, and I have a hat with the word hat. It's the holidays, man. I'm trying to get into the spirit. It doesn't feel like Christmas. I'm actually much more sad than I am happy about it. But, you know, as I teased on social media earlier, you know, we got a pretty interesting 2021 to look forward to and some big announcements. Yes, that is Photoshopped, by the way. Somebody actually asked me earlier, like, was that Photoshopped? I'm like, no, WWE put it on TV as a little, like, to try to make good for them ripping me off for $100 last week. Of course it's Photoshopped.
All right.
Anyway, I still think Big E needs to win the Royal Rumble. I think Big E going against Roman Reigns is the pay-per-view match for WrestleMania. I don't know if it's going to be main event. They would really, put it this way, WWE has to be careful. I don't know how you feel about this, but just to finish up Big E for a minute.
All right.
But they have to be very careful how they go with Roman Reigns going forward, and I'll tell you why. You know, this almost reminds me in a way of Asuka. Asuka back in the day, they made her so up here compared to everybody else on the roster that the only way they could bring her down to earth a little bit, if you remember, was the feud with Carmella. And Carmella would have James Ellsworth get involved, and he had the Oscar mask, then he's put in a cage, and there's all those cluster, you know, what's going on. And people had a hard time accepting Asuka losing matches because WWE rose her, and her talent speaks for itself. She earned everything that she got. But with Roman Reigns, there has to be a kink in the armor, and it's not just Jey Uso is banned from ringside. If they go too high with Roman Reigns, if they do Big E versus Roman Reigns for WrestleMania, you're going to get the same scenario. Oh, we know the outcome. Roman Reigns is going to win it. And they'll probably do like a tag match or some match on TV, and Big E gets the pin. Big E just pinned the world champion. You could see that coming, to try to do that suspension of disbelief that Big E could possibly win. You got to bring him down just a little bit, because you need a lot of fans going into Mania to think, you know what? I think Big E could take the belt off of him.
That does make sense. I mean, that's definitely something that you don't want to do, is you don't want to sit there and raise people up above expectations. But at the same time, right now, I think what WWE really needs is for people to believe in some of their characters. I mean, we can look at the Drew McIntyre experiment and how horribly that's failed in 2020. And we can look at many other experiments that WWE's done, Seth Rollins, that have not really taken off. So if people can get behind anyone in this company, it's a good thing. It really is a good thing. So Asuka being one of the highlights, great. Big E being one of the highlights, great. Stop pushing the people. Stop looking towards the direction of people that aren't really garnering the audience's attention. If Big E is going to be the guy that people get behind, let's fucking push him to the moon. Fuck it.
Yeah. Anthony, I'll get into what you asked in a moment. We're going to get to that pretty quickly. Pretty funny, though, by the way. So I liked the opening pre-show match. It was a fun match. Nothing to write home about. Later on, we had a segment between Big E and Sami Zayn. Again, apparently some leaked audio was sent to Kayla Braxton of Sami Zayn, like questioning, like, who leaked, basically there was some audio that Kayla Braxton got that she leaked to TV. And then Sami Zayn being like a little bitch behind the scenes, and Sami Zayn confronts Kayla's like, who gave you that tape? Who leaked that audio? And she's like, I'm a journalist. I never reveal my source. And then Big E has a little confrontation with Sami Zayn, and this is all the setup Friday. I don't know if Big E is going to win that title from Sami Zayn this quickly. This is kind of like, all right, let's throw the Nightcrawler into the water and let's see if we could attract any fish. You know what I mean? So they're not going to reel anybody in yet, but just test the waters to see what kind of reaction it gets. But one thing I do like, even though Big E with Sami Zayn's Sammy Awards, you know, him screwing with the awards on Friday, Big E is acting a lot more serious now. And he gets pissed off. I mean, he always had that as Big E Langston, that he always would get angry. But now they're starting to make Big E a little bit more serious. Not taking away all the comedy, but when Big E gets serious, you know, he gets serious. Like, don't cross his path. But I thought the match was fine. You know, for a pre-show, I had no problems with it.
Yeah, it's a simple 8-minute, 35-second match. You know, it went through what it was. Like I said, I think it was just a thrown-together match. It was for what it was. It gave Big E and Zayn that confrontation that they needed in order to continue this mini feud that's going on. But we open up the night with Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles with Omos, and a surprise cash-in by The Miz with John Morrison.
I liked the second part of this match. The first part of the match, to me, they worked hard. It was physical, but it felt a little bit flat.
Sure. I agree.
Look, I there's no secret that I'm fans of Miz and Morrison. I liked them on TV, but I think there are a little too many segments with them the last month or two, way too many. So I like, you know, like them trolling fans with Miz, get under your skin. And trust me, there was a lot of people that thought Miz was going to cash in and beat Drew McIntyre tonight. There were early reports early on that, you know, they try different ways to have Miz cash in and beat Drew McIntyre tonight. I honestly didn't think there was ever any chance of him losing that belt.
Right.
Yeah, him beating AJ Styles is a nice notch under Drew McIntyre's title reign when we look back on it.
Well, Drew is the 2020 COVID champion. Let's not forget that. But at the same time, I don't know. I kind of felt like it was futile for Miz to cash in the middle of a match. That was a little bit odd. I didn't really appreciate that. I thought that kind of went against the fact that Miz is actually a smart Money in the Bank champ or a Money in the Bank holder. I figured he was going to wait till after the match in order to cash anything in. But this time he chose the uncertainty of a middle of the match, which really made him. And then, of course, he completely forgot about Omos. Like, how do you forget about the 7-foot standing on the outside of the ring the whole damn time? It showed a lot of nearsightedness and made Miz come off as more of a goof as opposed to Miz being more of like the psychological guy. Look, I know Miz isn't Triple H here, but at the same time, he knows better. And the fact that they plan this out and they just expect the fans to go, oh, Miz felt like just cashing in the middle of the match.
Yeah, there was something else that really pissed me off about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was something else that really pissed me off about that. I'm glad you brought up that point. There was something else. You go back and you watch that when they cashed in the briefcase. If you pay attention to Miz climbing that ladder, he climbed it slower than a vegetable. You know, slower than Joey 924 would have climbed the ladder. He was climbing a step, looking this way, climbing a step, looking this way. I mean, you would think he's fresh. He hasn't been in a match. He wasn't beat up. All he did was hand a suitcase. He probably burned less calories than when Sting came out with his Fitbit. And instead of just, I'm talking storyline, instead of him just jolting up the ladder like a bad cartoon, I mean, he climbed it slower than a 90-year-old, and then almost was hilarious.
Very poorly done. You know what? I mean, as far as what this match goes, I know that you didn't appreciate the first half of the match. You did like the second half. I really thought the overall of this match was kind of caca. As you saw AJ Styles going out there busting his ass. AJ Styles once again proving that he is a workhorse. Miz kind of looked like an idiot. John Morrison running away in total of this crazy walk. And what is with Omos walking up the damn ramp like he's the Undertaker? Dude, he's a black man, not the dead man, okay? Can we just make this fucking clear? The guy has the ability to run after John Morrison. Why is he walking everywhere? Didn't he cosplay as a ninja not that long ago too. Yeah. Come on.
And instead of
have the ability to run,
instead of Morrison just running in the back, Morrison's like,
yeah, I know. Exactly. Morrison is acting like a complete chode going up the ramp. It was really, really not a good match. But you know what? When it comes to Drew McIntyre, I expect nothing but this. You know, sad to say AJ was in there and tried to make everybody look good, which he did a great job of. Overall, this match was definitely not on my high list.
Yeah.
27 in 5 minutes. Jesus.
Yeah.
27.05.
That is a very long time, and yes, they milked a few minutes with Miz with the briefcase. Yeah, almost, I will say, I laughed when Miz tried to climb the ladder and then almost grabbed him and almost picked him up. And he slowly, walking to... I thought he was just going to put him, on the top rope.
Dude, why does Miz not know how to defend himself? He's kicking his legs like he's a diva. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is the guy going for the championship. And he's like, oh, somebody helps me. It's like, what the fuck? It was horrible. It was horrible.
But what was even funnier was when Omos has him carried. Just watch Miz as Omos.
Right.
And then throws him over the top rope to a tail. Miz, you know what Miz looked like? Any of you out there, do you remember when you were kids and maybe with your dad, because your dads are stronger than moms, just, it's science, it's not sexist. But how many of you, you would be at the beach and, you'd never been in the beach waters before and your dad wants to bring you into the water, so your dad... Because my dad used to do this to me. My dad would pick me up. He would walk into the beach water, and he'd be holding me in his arms, and I would grab onto him like this because I didn't know how to swim at the time. I was a little kid. That's what Miz looked like. Miz looked like as if his dad was carrying him to, walk into the beach waters. It was funny, but it was kind of corny. And, I mean, I like almost his coolness, but Morrison looked like a goof, even though I'm fans of both.
Amateur look. It was just not good. It was not a good look for Miz. I know Miz can be goofy sometimes, but the one thing that Miz should know how to do is wrestle, brawl, attack, not let somebody just pick on him and push him around like nothing. It was really a horrible look. This match can really be forgotten, and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't do this earlier on. Big shout out to everybody tuning in. I don't like to, emphasize or put people higher than others, but big shout to everybody who's tuning in live, especially because I know there's a lot of other shows out there that you could take your time out and be tuning in right now. So, whether you're on YouTube right now or you're with Mish on Discord, much love as always. So,
or if you're listening on Mixler, that dying.
Oh yeah, Mixler seems to be dying. Yeah, I feel bad for. But
we still love you on Mixler. It's just we wish you'd come over to Discord or YouTube it.
Yeah, it's just right now I'm looking at it. I got super chats here. I got notes over here. I got the video stream here. I got the recording stuff here. And then I got the YouTube stream and the chat over here. So it's a lot of boxes to be looking at all at the same time. And now when I do timestamps, I got to jot timestamps as well. Sure. But, look, at this point, I'm going to be honest. At this point, I'm saying to myself, okay, the pay-per-view, none of the matches have been bad, but none of the matches really stood out to me. And, this leads to the next match. And you want to know something? I'm really, really happy that this match. I went too far. It's all right. I'll let it go through. But I'm really, really happy that Carmella backed it up in the ring today. Because, I talked about it last week. I talked about it the last few weeks. Carmella, the last we remember her from a while back, she hasn't had the greatest of matches. And a lot of people have been really, really hard on Carmella. And even when they were doing those hype videos of Untouchable and everything like that, she was getting a lot of crap on social media. No question. And, I noticed the last couple of weeks, you could see that she's improved a little bit, but they gave you just a taste as far as SmackDown goes. tonight, this might be a stretch to a lot of people out there, but tonight, I honestly think, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. Goodfellas, sorry. As far back as I could remember, I don't recall a better in-ring match than what I saw tonight with Carmella. I thought she has improved dramatically. She had ring presence. Wasn't just fluff. I mean, was the match spectacular? No, but this match over-delivered, in my opinion.
I guess if you're comparing one Carmella match versus other Carmella matches,
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Sure, I will give her the nod that she did better tonight than she usually does. But I'm not ready to write her off and say, or I'm not about to write her dais and say that she's the most amazing female wrestler ever. She's nowhere near that, and she's still bottom of the rung in my opinion. Sasha Banks did a fantastic job tonight. Once again, proving that whatever the fuck happened to that girl where she went to acting classes and everything else like that, she really makes you believe that she's getting hurt out there. She really acts it up now. Yeah. She does a good job in ring. And I think it's because of Sasha Banks that Carmella even looked halfway decent.
Sasha Banks definitely made Carmella look better compared to if maybe Carmella. Right. I don't want to name anybody, but if Carmella was fighting like Liv Morgan or Dana Brooke or Billie Kay, I don't think we probably would have seen anything like that. But
I just don't think that Carmella is as good as people say that she is or want to say that she is. I think Sasha, on the other hand, is willing to fold herself up like a xylophone, like an accordion, not a xylophone, Jesus Christ. There was a few times out there where Sasha took a pretty good bump. And
did you see that one where Carmella planted her? I mean, that reminded me of like almost RVD days when RVD would go straight down.
But that was Sasha. At the end of the day, we know that's Sasha. We know that's not Carmella.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm looking at the match itself, and it's like, okay, those great moments that everybody's going to see with Carmella, that's Sasha busting her ass to make Carmella look good.
Right.
So I know there's a lot of people that don't even like Sasha Banks, but I don't know. Something's changed in her over the last few months where she seems to be trying a lot harder than she has before. Ever since the end of her feud with Bayley, she's really kind of stepped it up. So, kudos to Sasha. Whether she's the side champion in this or not, I think she's done a fantastic job. I think that this match was a lot better than what I expected it to be, but that's not because I expected less of Sasha. It's because I only expected so much of Carmella.
Right. Joe Punches says once he saw Sasha DDT Boba Fett from The Mandalorian, he knew she was retaining. You watched The Mandalorian?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Really? I've never been into like Star Wars and that stuff. Never. I never could get into it.
The standalone series, The Mandalorian as a standalone series, even if you're not a huge Star Wars guy and you haven't watched all the movies and everything else like that, it stands on its own merits. It's a very good show. And obviously the Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett that's coming out?
I say Boba Fett? Boba Fett, excuse me. Baba, like giant Baba. No, it's Boba Fett.
Not like Bubba. It's Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Yes.
Baba.
No, it was good. It was a good show. Like, if you ever get a chance to watch it, it's on Disney Plus. I'm sure it'll be elsewhere soon enough. But, it's definitely worth your $10 for a month. So
absolutely. You guys with the Bray Wyatt comments? We'll get to them in a couple of minutes, without a doubt. I got you on the side for that. But I tell you, just as far as just to close out Carmella and Sasha, they delivered. I mean, let me put it like this. I don't think that anything more could have been done. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it was the match of the night. I'm not saying it at all.
I know.
But, this reminds me of what we said a while back about Lana. What's her face? Thea Trinidad, before she got released. She had that match with Asuka, and we were hoping, Zelina Vega would put on, because we know that she actually can work a little bit. It's just when you're just a manager for a very long period of time, it's not easy to just get out of one mode and go into another. So when Zelina had that decent match with Asuka, when Lana held her own, which for Lana, that's a big deal. To see those three hold their own when so many people had such low expectations made me feel good. And I thought Carmella did a fine job tonight. You know, is she upper tier echelon as far as ability goes? No. But you know what? She didn't just wake up one day, you know, and then suddenly, you know, be able to put some of this together. You know, she's been working hard in the ring. And also, let's give a little credit to Corey Graves, even though I know a lot of people don't like him. That guy has been working out with her also and trying to get her to improve. So she's putting in the work. Will she ever, you know, take it to the next level? Who knows? But I thought she did a great job tonight. And Sasha did an excellent job as well. And Sasha retains with the bank statement. And, oh, by the way, a bunch of you have been asking me about this. I did a little research. We were wondering who, you know, this guy was that was in the corner of Carmella. So didn't take me that long to figure it out, but I did a little bit of checking today. His real name, I believe, is Sidney Bateman. And when he got signed to WWE and was part of like NXT, he got signed in January. They had him signed as Akeem Young. They recently changed his name to Reginald Thomas. So he was originally part of Cirque du Soleil. Is that how you pronounce it?
I believe so.
Yeah, he was part of that, but he had a little bit of wrestling knowledge as well, so he's been training to wrestle a little bit. So this is not just a hired gun. This is someone that actually, you know, people may remember, Mish and I have been talking about this for years. I don't know when recently there were reports of NXT getting their own developmental. You and I have been talking about this for 3, 4, 5 years. When we bring up that there are wrestlers that work all these NXT house shows that you never ever see on the USA Network or the, you know, I mean, this has been going on for a while. But he was one of these guys, and you never saw him Wednesdays, but he was also working for WWE doing some stuff as well. So that is who is in the corner of Carmella. So they're calling him Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie.
Reggie.
I didn't think anything of it. I mean, it was what it was. Sasha won with the bank statement. It was fine, you know. I don't know. I guess, do you want to move on to the...
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have the Hurt Business with Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin with MVP versus the New Day with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods tag team for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships. 10 minutes. Nice, even number. What a great timing for a match. 10 minutes. If every match was 10 minutes, tonight would have been great. It went on a little long, but that's neither here nor there. Hurt Business out there, I think, you know, it's kind of funny because I was talking about this a little bit last week too, that it feels like the New Day starts to fall into the clown area a little bit. Not as bad as obviously the Street Profits, but it's nice to see the Hurt Business out there that can actually do the yucks, make people laugh without looking like complete buffoons at the same time, without making themselves comic book characters, cartoon characters on TV. You know what I mean? So the Hurt Business goes out there, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin. I think Shelton Benjamin was on fire tonight. There was sometimes you forget how good of a wrestler Shelton Benjamin is until you see him in the ring controlling the match. And I think he did a fucking fantastic job tonight. Him and Kofi, fantastic in tonight's match, going back and forth. There was a great amount of tags. Like it flowed very well. Both teams were very on point. They knew, you know, it made sense. The match made sense. The hope spots were fun. I don't know. Overall, I think that this match more than delivered.
I like the storyline they've been doing for a couple of weeks now. Cedric Alexander getting overly excited and taking business for himself. Even today, Shelton pretty much had the match won, and Cedric tagged himself in and finished it up. You know, so what I like about that storyline, and you and I have talked about it for a few weeks, that hopefully they don't lose the belts anytime soon. But if they do, that sub-storyline will be the out for them to lose those belts. You'll see some type of faux pas.
You don't think they're going to walk around this for a minute? I think they're going to hold on to all these belts.
I hope they hold on to it for a while.
Yeah.
I tell you, you know, tonight it made me feel old because when Cedric won the title, the tag title, I said, you know, I got to look and see when the last time he was a WWE Tag Team Champion. And from looking at it, just to show people how old some of us are. The last time Shelton Benjamin was a tag team champion, somebody pointed out that Grand Theft Auto Vice City was either just came out or wasn't out yet. Beyonce's Crazy in Love was out like the #1 song.
Yuck.
You and I were just starting to do podcasts, webcasts. I mean, I was doing a hotline for 6 years already, but that's how far this is 2003. The last time Shelton Benjamin was a tag team champion was 17 and a half years ago.
Jesus. Wow.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Made me feel old today, but man, you look at him 17 years ago and now, I mean, he has not changed that much physique-wise, and he is smooth as silk.
K, friend of ours, he was 3 years old. There were people who were 3 years old.
Crazy, man. Crazy. 17 and a half years ago was the last time. And, you know, it makes me feel old realizing that you and I covered it. I don't know if that was Fan Talk Live yet with Chris Cash, but I think we were doing a Minority Report or just about to. I think it was 2003. I was working for XPW at the time, so no, it was the Blackheart Sports Entertainment Hotline still, but I started uploading Hotline reports on the net. Yeah, so this was right. This is right before we started doing podcasts.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was doing Revolution Radio back then.
Yeah,
I wasn't even a part of the Minority Report yet. So.
But look, at this point, all my predictions had come out. I wanted the Hurt Business to win. Very, very happy. I tell you, Shelton Benjamin, you know, it's nice to see him getting, you know, a little bit of recognition. I mean, it wasn't too long ago when he was doing those skits in the back with Chad Gable with the height and all that other garbage. Right. It was just waste of time. But I tell you, I never thought I would find myself. 2020 is ending weird because in 2020 it's ending where I kind of like Evil Uno, that I actually could tolerate Cameron Grimes, and I actually like Cedric Alexander's work now. I mean, Cedric Alexander, for a couple of years, every time he would come out when there was live fans, anybody remember? Every time I get the call, no one reacts to me at all. Every time I get the call, no. I mean, that's what it was. And now they turn him heel. He gets a little bit of a cocky attitude. I think Cedric Alexander's stock has gone up quite a bit. This is probably the highest of his WWE career.
These guys really work well together, and they play off of each other well. And MVP has done a phenomenal job of being that fatherly professional figure that keeps them all together. But at the same time, they get to act like good old school wrestling heels.
Yes.
I have no problem with the Hurt Locker. I think they're a great tag team. I think they're a great stable. I have fun with it. So, yeah.
Now, what do we do about MVP? Because Lashley has gold. Cedric and Shelton have gold. What does this leave MVP?
I wouldn't be surprised if one day he just punches R-Truth in the mouth and takes his belt.
You know, I didn't even think of that. That's fabulous. I want to see all four guys do a pose, all having a title.
Exactly.
Even if he only has it for a day or a week.
Right.
Yeah. I want to see that. I know a lot of you think that, and I agree, MVP's in-ring career, you know, the expiration date is a little bit past the expiration date. It's like when you buy something and it just expires, but you could still eat it and it tastes fine. MVP is a little bit past the expiration date, but he doesn't embarrass himself out there. He does an okay job. But, you know, he is done. I don't think anybody could argue with this. We never in a million years ever thought MVP would fit in this well on WWE television after all of these years. And MVP, arguably, might be one of the MVPs of 2020, not necessarily in ring, but the Hurt Business, the way it was brought about, and him cutting all his I think was definitely a bright spot of WWE in 2020.
Yeah, he started off a little cornball, but he really fell into the role. I think he's grown a lot as a character, and he definitely knows how to pretty much put the charisma on for everybody else.
Yes.
We know for a fact that Bobby Lashley is not the most charismatic guy. Neither is Cedric Alexander, and Shelton Benjamin, another guy who's not fantastic on the mic, but MVP really holds all those guys together, and I think he makes that entire stable special. So they all need each other. I think that this is going to go a little bit further, and it's a nice, refreshing change of pace as opposed to some of the clowning that we see with the other tag teams.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. They earned it. There's no question that they earned it. They've been working their ass off all year long, and I think that they earned it tonight. Now, someone who maybe over their career has earned championship opportunity, but some people are kind of pissed off tonight of the outcome of the match. I mean, obviously, we already revealed that Charlotte made her return tonight, teamed up with Asuka to take on Nia and Shayna Baszler. And, the story of this match was, for most of the match, Asuka was getting her ass kicked, and she was unable to make a tag. Towards the end, Charlotte finally got the hot tag, and I honestly thought, and I said this on Fridays, I thought Charlotte would return. I thought Asuka would get a beatdown, and then when Asuka finally was able to make the tag to Charlotte, Charlotte would turn around and knock her out. And this would lead to Asuka and Charlotte rekindling their feud, Nia and Shayna retaining, and we see where it goes next. But as people will see, no, that didn't happen. Your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Not only are they tag champs now, but it was funny that I saw people tonight saying, wait, Asuka has 2 belts? And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. We just dealt for the last year or two Becky 2 belts, Bayley 2 straps. So Asuka having 2 titles, what's different? There's nothing different about it. I understand why it feels different, but I don't know. Some people are in a little bit of an uproar today saying, look at this shit. Charlotte returns, and her first match back, she's got gold.
All right, so there's about 2, maybe 3 things that have happened that were very significant in this match. First off, like you brought up, like other people have brought up, Asuka and Charlotte have undeclared heat because they had their feud that was going on before. Also, we can't forget about the Nia Jax Charlotte stuff. Also, let's not forget about the fact that supposedly Charlotte buried Rhea Ripley back in the day and she'll never get her heat back, blah, 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 which is what's being said online or whatever else like that. Charlotte coming back and winning the tag team titles actually does change a few things. It leaves open the question of, what about Lana? Now what's going to happen with Lana? Where are we going to go with that? Because the entire idea of Asuka and Lana together was, like we even talked about before, very reminiscent of a Mikey Whipwreck, Mick Foley, Mankind storyline. In this scenario, now that Asuka has gold with Charlotte, kind of throws Lana to the side. And it also brings out a new feud between Nia and Shayna versus Asuka and Charlotte, where the original feud was Nia was beating the shit out of Lana and picking on her, and they made an entire feud storyline out of that. So it really is kind of falling flat in one side. And I understand that Charlotte coming back was I enjoyed it. I like Charlotte. I know
too.
A lot of people
I liked it. I know
there's a lot of people that disagree with me on that. I still like Charlotte. I still think that Charlotte is good for the company. She's one of their best wrestlers.
Yeah.
She had some phenomenal matches over the years. But her coming directly back in and winning the title, can I say hot-shotting a little bit? Just feels a little too on the nose almost. You know what I mean? It's like they completely changed the direction of what Asuka, Nia, and Shayna were doing with just one appearance.
Yeah.
So I don't know overall how I feel about it. I like Asuka's 2 belts. I have no problem with Charlotte wearing gold. I just thought the way that they did it tonight, they could have done that next page. They could have done this at the Royal Rumble. They could have had this match at the Royal Rumble with Asuka and Charlotte. Doing it tonight, I don't know. I thought that tonight could have ended in like a DQ. It could have ended some other way. so that they could have built that feud up. But coming right out of the gate like this, I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't have a problem because it reminded me of one thing. Not Triple H, because I know a lot of people think, oh, Triple H, when he used to return, he would get gold, right? No. Here's the difference. I compare it to Brock Lesnar. I'm not saying that Charlotte is on the level of Brock Lesnar to be the number one person in the overall company, but here's my point. You know, I have brought it up many times over the last 5-6 years, maybe a little longer. I don't know the whole exact time frame. But when Brock Lesnar, it was a proven fact that even when the ratings were shitty, that when Brock Lesnar was advertised to appear the following week, numbers would go up. Brock Lesnar's quarter hours are always some of the strongest, if not the strongest quarter hours of the nights. So when Brock Lesnar was gone for a little while, and then I remember the night he came back, and I think he won Money in the Bank without actually, I think he won the title without actually cashing in or something. I remember him winning a belt one time. He might have even had a beard. Something about that, but I remember social media getting their balls in a bunch about it. And the bottom line is that the ratings were crap at the time. And yes, I've said before, not any one person is the cause, not any one person is the cure. But the thing is that they would go back to Brock Lesnar, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go back to Brock Lesnar again in the very near future, which you and I have talked about before, to basically just shake it up a little bit. Not the shaking up that we all think. You know, let's be honest. I know a lot of people out there want to do these, 10-part series about what's wrong with WWE and this and that. You know, WWE is not going to just implode. It's not like somebody who buys an old house and then they just knock the whole house down and just leave the foundation and then just re-gut it and build a brand new house. WWE is never going to do that. It's not going to happen. The only thing WWE will do is they will take little pieces here and there and try to, spice that up, shake it up, twist this around, sure, and to see if it gets a little bit of a buzz. And that's what they did tonight. That's what they did with Charlotte. With the women's division, social media, for the people out there that love to tweet fuck, that were bitter tonight about this, you are part of the reason why this happened tonight. Every Monday, you say you can't stand WWE, but you watch it religiously and you tweet 50 times about it, and all you do is you do videos, you do blogs, you do tweets, you do Facebook, Instagram stuff, shitting on the WWE women's division, shitting on Raw especially. It's garbage, SmackDown's better, it's not there. But Raw women's roster, look at the women's roster, look at what they did, look at this garbage, look at this crap. Well, now you got what you got tonight. How do you like it? So I had no problem with this tonight.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm just saying, I think there was more to be let up with the potential feud between Asuka and Charlotte. I think Shayna and Nia versus Asuka and Lana was the feud that they were working on. Having Charlotte come in there out of the blue, kind of take the title, kind of throws a bunch of different storylines in disarray. I understand it. There's no problem with them being champions. It statistically makes sense to me. However, I just kind of feel a little let down from the potential of what Charlotte could have done.
I didn't want Nia and Shayna to lose tonight. It was the only match that I got wrong. No, actually, I think I predicted Fiend also to win. But, okay, I didn't want Nia and Shayna to lose. I think they've been doing a decent job with the titles. But, like I said, there's a difference between complaining and tonight, really, as far as the women's division goes, tonight, you all got a crash course on people out there that are just lonely looking for conversation. Because compare it to a restaurant where they replace the chef and the chef is cooking lousy food over and over and over again. And every time you leave, you put in the comment box, get rid of this chef, the food sucks, the cooking sucks, this and that, blah, 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 blah. So now WWE, replaces the chef and now they bitch even more. Tell me who else on the women's roster on Monday nights that you would have turned around and you would have said, instead of Charlotte, you would have said, that's fine. What are you going to say, Naomi? What are you going to say, Mandy? So these people out there that are complaining week in and week out, look at the garbage Raw women's division. Look at the crap on the Raw. They can't even find a partner for. Look at this garbage. You give her the best female in the WWE, period.
Right.
And you bitch more. You don't want the women's division to get better. You want it to suck so you could keep tweet fucking and blogging and podcasting and all this stuff to get attention and hits. It's just like people out there that don't want to see things get better in this country or relations, race relation, everything like that. There are people out there that need it to be bad because that's how they make a living.
Well, I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch.
That's a little bit of a stretch, but there are people out there.
You know.
Give me what I want. Give me what I need.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, okay, they made a drastic change. Look, Asuka's going to team up with Lana. What the hell garbage is that? Oh, now they're going to team up with Dana Brooke tonight. That's even worse. Oh, they're going to do it with Mandy Rose. That makes no sense. She's not in the storyline. Naomi hasn't been around in a while. And they bitch about every single person. Bitch, 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 bitch. What do you want her to do? You want Becky to just, like, toss a kid aside and just run back to the ring and win? So you got the number one female in the company make her return tonight, and you still complain. It's very easy. It's very easy for people to bitch and complain about everything. It's very difficult to come up with a solution. Take note that everybody that bitches, especially on YouTube, all they do is complain and complain and complain, but they never come up with solutions. Some people do. Jason does, sure. JD does. They have some great ideas, but overall, people out there, they just want the big clickbait letters and all this stuff, and they'll say, "Oh, WWE will never have a house show ever again."
Let's move on to the Roman Reigns match. Yes. We're already at 10:05, so
yeah,
or 11:05. My bad. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Kevin Owens. TLC match for the WWE Universal Championship. I have to say, the overall of this match told a fantastic story. There were more than a few points where Kevin Owens was surprising me with being as, I guess you want to say, with being such a challenger to Roman Reigns in a match that I felt from the very get-go, even when myself and Lee Sanders from the RCWR show were reviewing. When we were coming up with the match results, when we were coming up with the ideas of who would win tonight, I didn't think that Kevin Owens stood a chance. I felt that this was kind of going to be a walk-on role for Roman Reigns and then walk off. But it was a really good story. Kevin Owens really fought back. Kevin Owens made me a believer a couple times in the night that, holy shit, are they really going to give it to Kevin Owens? Look, at the end of the day, obviously we know Roman Reigns took the strap and that there was interference from the outside, but yeah, I don't know. It was a good story. This is a match that I will watch again. This is a match that really showcased how good Kevin Owens was. And it was very believable, and it was a very good story. And even though there's a lot of times where I don't give Roman the appreciation that he does deserve, I think that tonight he did a good job all the way up until the finish. That finish was a load of cacas. For as much that Kevin Owens did for that sloppy sleeper on the ladder, I was just like, that's how you're going to finish this? This motherfucker has been killing you throughout this entire match and taken everything you've thrown at him, and you're going to beat him with a lazy sleeper and a drop off the side? Oh, it was so depressing because it really felt like a subpar ending to a fantastic contest. Almost as good, almost so good that I want to see it again. That Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns needs to happen again. I never would have expected this match to be as good as it was, and the way that it finished was a complete letdown. Though I did understand it, Roman Reigns went out to win it. I didn't expect anything different. I just kind of hoped that Kevin Owens would have been given a little bit more respect of maybe more of a finality, to the match.
Maybe the next match they have Jey Uso in a cage suspended in the air. I'd like to see maybe something like that. Not just barred from ringside, but suspended in the air or something like that. But, you know, this is like a bad horror film. All right, we go to Jason or Michael Myers because everybody knows those characters, or Freddy Krueger, those three. But it's like, especially Michael Myers, the Halloween movies, you'll shoot him, he'll fall to the floor, and then he'll get up again. And you'll stab him, he'll fall on the floor, he'll get up again. Halloween 1, he falls through the window, goes 3 stories down, Donald Pleasant looks out the window, and he's gone. All right? This is the equivalent that if you're watching one of these movies and Jamie Curtis shoots Michael Myers, stabs Michael Myers, runs him over with a car, and all through in the same movie, and he keeps getting up, and at the very end, she gives him melatonin, and he just falls asleep. And that's how it goes off the air. It's like, after all of that abuse, Roman Reigns should have lifted Kevin Owens with a crane and put him through like 5 tables, or just like an unbelievable finish where this guy, that's it, he's done. Light him on fire.
Right, you would have almost expected like a Mankind falling off the Hell in a Cell kind of finish to this. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was a really good match. Really good match. Probably the best match Kevin Owens has had in 2020. Easily. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah. Look, I've been praising this for a while, and I know it's a broken record, but believe me when I tell you, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens coming into this pay-per-view probably had the most difficult job out of anybody who had a match tonight, because the outcome, the winner, was so predictable. So the only way to suspend that still is by just having people just tell a beautiful story. And, you know, it's Kevin Owens, like you said, the fact that at points you thought, holy shit, he may actually win this. They did their job. And yes, the ending was underwhelming, was probably be the right way to put it, because of everything they did early in the night.
24 minutes, DP.
Yeah.
24 minutes, 45 seconds. The match flowed very well for being such a long match.
Yes.
Usually me and you and Joe and everybody else kind of have problems with a lot of these longer matches. They don't always hold up. This one held up all the way up until the end.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it very much. I tell you, I don't want to jump ahead because we got the main event now, and definitely get into all your super chats, but I honestly... Thinking about it now, I think this was my favorite match of the night. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens was my favorite match of the night.
Awesome. Mine too.
It was awesome. It was awesome. And I agree with you 100%. I think Roman Reigns has got to come out there Friday, show a little respect for Kevin Owens, that, you know, he would, or maybe Paul Heyman does it, which I know he will. But there's got to lead to Kevin Owens. They keep saying he's unhinged, he's snapped, he's this, he's that. That's got to continue. And there's got to be one additional match that happens. So I agree with you. Maybe we'll see Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. And that makes sense even more, because especially if you could have Big E maybe win that Royal Rumble, it wouldn't make sense for Roman Reigns to be in the Royal Rumble. And you don't want to start. I mean, the Royal Rumble is 5 weeks away, 5.5 weeks away, I believe.
I know. Right around the corner, man.
Yeah. So I think it's too soon to build another storyline for those 5.5 weeks. Yes, you can do a bullshit tournament thing on SmackDown, lead to a #1 contender like they do on all the other shows. But the thing is, come Royal Rumble time, you want Roman Reigns' slate to be clean, because whoever wins that Royal Rumble, your thought is going to be, especially like I say, if it ends up being Big E, no matter who Roman Reigns is feuding up to that point, the minute that Royal Rumble winner is done and it's in the books, you're going to immediately think said person against champion. Just like last year when Drew McIntyre won and then he eliminated Brock earlier. I mean, the minute he won, that's all we talked about. Drew versus Brock. Right. Drew versus Brock. Right. So I agree with you. Let this storyline continue for 5 more weeks and let it finish at the Royal Rumble.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely good with that. But now let's get into the main event. Obviously, what everybody's been talking about since the show went off the air. Randy Orton versus The Fiend. Bray Wyatt in a Firefly Inferno match. So the match itself was okay. Randy Orton came out wearing his jogging gear, which was okay. I thought it was flame retardant or something like that. And there was definitely lots of fire all over the place. They had the match started off kind of bland. I mean, Randy Orton kept punching him in the face. Fiend kept laughing about it. It didn't start off very good, but it definitely got there. It got there pretty fast too. Once the fire started coming up, the Inferno the little fire shoots around the ring and stuff like that. Once that started coming into play, once he pulled out the lighter fluid in the gas can, and I love how they keep saying it's gasoline. Dude, if that was gasoline, you wouldn't be able to put it out, okay? If he was getting doused in gasoline, that would be over. The first time he was burning, that would be over. But overall, the match is a complete gimmick match. It was a complete spectacle match. They really did go deep in talking about the feud. And it is. At this point, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt are a blood feud and then some. So obviously they referenced, they had the rocking chair there, which was really cool when Bray Wyatt was going to burn Randy Orton's nuts and Randy Orton busted out the chair. Dude, I laughed my ass off at that. And Randy's face when he bounced off the barricade at the back while he's looking with his big old bug eyes, it was hilarious because it was going right up the sack. He got out of there right before the fire hit his sack, man. Randy loves his balls, so good for Randy. But overall, the match was a complete gimmick. It was supposed to continue the tale, continue the story about how these two guys hate each other. And the one thing that I noticed, which was interesting, is because Randy Orton has always played the Viper character, like the dust in the wind, the cowboy, like almost like the last one. And while he's not a superstitious character, while he's not a character that falls into the same realm as like a Gangrel, Aleister Black, Undertaker, or even Fiend, he's always kind of danced at the edge of that kind of character symbiosis. So when I saw him out there tonight, it was really interesting that there was a lot of these supernatural qualities about the Fiend that were out there, and we got to see Randy Orton as a human fighting that character. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was surprisingly better than what I expected it to be. Look, some of these gimmick matches end up really, really soft. They end up really, really, really weak. But I thought this, for what it was, I enjoyed it. You got fire. You got people beating the shit out of each other. Well, what more do you want?
Yeah. I'll say this. By the way, Neil, that was a mannequin at the end of the thing. I'll tell you this much. I am, a lot of this was recorded early. It might have all been recorded earlier. I know some people were early in the night saying that, no, it's not closing it out. Obviously, when you have the ring on fire and all that equipment around ringside, you can't, put it this way, during TLC, if you noticed, none of that lighting stuff was around ringside. They did not you didn't have like 60 people wearing masks all come out and set that up while we're watching a vignette package leading up to it. So all of this was recorded earlier. But I'm pretty certain that the Thunderdome crowd that you saw in the background, that could not have been pre-recorded earlier because they did not do a Thunderdome call for anybody to sign up to be around that early in the day. I'm thinking that part of it, that it might have been, not too early. You know what I'm saying? Like at the beginning of the night.
Oh, okay.
I even think that they may have had that pre-recorded, those screens. I'm not sure. It's got. The one thing that got me a little bit off with that is when Randy Orton was doing some of the stuff he was doing, and I'm sure some of you out there noticed this as well. Randy Orton is not the heel in this storyline. Technically, it's Bray Wyatt. If you think about it. In fact, I wouldn't blame anybody to be confused about both sides. But if you look, you'll see some fans around the ringside area that when the Fiend was doing some of the stuff he was doing, they were going like this.
Right.
And then when Randy Orton started doing stuff that he was doing, the same people were going like this. So if you look at some of that video, it didn't sync up all that well with what was going on in the ring. But, you know, I liked it. I think it did a fine job. It gave me Flair. Look, this is not the Attitude Era coming back or anything like that, you know, but this is like, you know, when Kane was feuding with Shane and you had the limits that caught that Lincoln go through, you know, the truck. You know, you've had some outrageous thing. My God, Shane got his testicles electrocuted, you know, and that was after they went PG, if I remember.
Right.
So this was about special effects, but it was a beautiful visual. I think
it was good. Yeah.
I think honestly, you look back at 2020. I honestly think that WWE has not had a bad pay-per-view. I mean, I can't. Maybe you had one or two here and there that kind of like was a little bit blah, but I honestly think, especially in COVID, I think WWE has done a decent job with their pay-per-views. You had the 2 cinematic matches that were off the hook. You had the Money in the Bank ladder matches at WWE headquarters. You had that other match. Which one was it? Not totally. You had Bray and Braun Strowman in the swamp. You know, they've actually had numerous, you know, creative.
They've had good matches, but as far as pay-per-views go, I kind of disagree with you. I think overall pay-per-views, WWE has not been hitting all the marks. I think that there's absolutely great matches, though. I will totally agree with you there. And I know there's a lot of people that don't like the cinematic stuff, but I think for the most part, maybe with the exception of the Edge Orton being a little bit long, maybe with the exception of the crazy match that ended up on the roof.
Rey Mysterio with the eye. That's to me, that was the worst one of
gouging out his eyeball. I mean, there's been some real hokey stuff that's happened this year. But at the same time, there has been some memorable matches. So
I think WWE was more creative.
Dichotomy that, well, they have to be. They have to be more creative. WWE has definitely shown more creativity this year than they have in many years, which is kind of a good and a bad thing at the same time, because a lot of this creativity isn't based upon what fans are expecting to see. Right. A lot of this creativity is based upon what they think that they can do that will actually entice people, whether it does or doesn't, is besides the point. So as far as saying that WWE has had great pay-per-views all year, I unfortunately have to disagree with you. But as far as having some memorable matches, absolutely, totally agree on that point.
I don't recall many years that their pay-per-views, I would give them a 7 out of 10 and 8 out, maybe because of COVID standards.
No, for sure. I mean, like I said, this year has been a really wacky year to begin with, but going through it, Randy Orton defeating the Fiend made sense. We got to bring up the fact that the entire match, DT, ended with the corpse of Bray Wyatt in the ring burning. Obviously, you know, Bray Wyatt's online. He's on Twitter or something. I think he said thank you to people or whatever else like that. Very interested where the storyline is going to go. I don't know. Do you think that this continues the feud now, or do you think Bray Wyatt disappears for a little bit and goes off screen?
Maybe the Fiend character goes off screen for a little while and you just get Bray himself. I think just creatively, I think WWE finds it easier to use Bray Wyatt himself than the Fiend character, because Bray cuts all the promos. The segments with Alexa Bliss are different. I'm very curious to see where it goes from here. Because honestly, I don't know where Randy Orton goes from here.
Right.
Because we don't know when Edge is going to be returning.
I don't know. True.
I got news for you. You know what I would do? I would have Edge repeat what he did in 2020. Have Edge return at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Eddie K, thank you
very much, DT. Gosh, it's been fantastic tonight. We've already done about an hour and 15 minutes. Thank you very much for having me on. I obviously will be doing Breakfast Soup on Monday, talking about this in full, obviously with the aftermath, and of course, the big Vince McMahon shaking it up.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a good convo tomorrow about that. Yeah, go have fun. Shout out to everybody on Discord, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Everyone that's with me right now on video, do not disconnect. We're not done yet.
Yes.
Much love, Mish.
Much love, DT. Thanks.
Yeah, take care. We're about 75 minutes in, about 15 minutes longer than we planned with Mish, but it's all good. You know, we're never exactly on time. So I want to stick around for a couple of minutes more, just bounce some comments back and forth with you all, a couple of questions as well. But Eddie K, thank you. He noticed too, and he checked, and they did reuse footage for that. You know, that's one thing about Thunderdome is you see a lot of fans that are not very lively. I mean, I've been on Thunderdome 4 times already. And you have people like Miz was on once, Adam Pearce was on once. I don't remember the other 2, but they would tell you, all right, everybody, get out of your seats, clap. All right, everybody, make noise, you know, thumbs up. Like they would coach you to react a certain way. And I guarantee you that some of that they pre-record and they put on the side. So this way, when they need to do something in the future, they have like a video package where it's primarily heels. I got to go back and watch it and see if the same people who were around ringside for Thunderdome tonight for the Bray match, I want to see if those were the same people throughout the entire match. Something tells me I'm going to go back and look at it, and you're going to see probably Maria sitting second row, and Juan sitting next to her on Thunderdome. And then 5 minutes later or 2 minutes later, you're going to see Manuel and Alex sitting there. And then a minute later, you're going to see Pablo and Jesus out there. So we'll see. But there was one other one, Anthony Diaz. I tell you, man, this kind of like requires a little bit of thinking. You're nuts. Make up your own Firefly puppet. What does it look like? What's its name? The catch is that it has to have a New York accent. You know what? I would maybe, because look, you're asking me to come up with a puppet in 10 seconds notice, have a New York accent, give it a name and everything else. So if you're asking me spur of the moment, I would do Don the Donkey. I would do Don the Donkey. I'd be like, hee-haw, hee-haw, what the fuck are you doing? Hee-haw, hee-haw. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, how you doing, everybody? Hee-haw, hee-haw. Don the Donkey, how's that? All right? How's that for spur of the moment? Just thinking quick. Give me like 6 hours or a day to prepare to come up with that. But yeah, Don the Donkey, you know, Rambling Rabbit, you know, hey, how you doing, Rambling Rabbit? Hey, my God, you had me doing turtles last week. Now I'm doing donkey sounds today. I had no idea he was going to put that up there. Don the Donkey. Now you're going to make me create a puppet. Seriously. I'm going to go on Amazon tonight. I'm going to look for the ugliest donkey puppet. And then I'm going to get like, maybe like some clothes from like dolls and stuff, like wearing a suit, maybe a little pimp hat. I'll put them in the back. We'll have Don. I'm telling you, Anthony, you're onto something. I think we got to do it. Seriously. You all want to see Don the Donkey make an appearance? All right. You give me challenges like that, I'll do it, man. I'll do it. Don the Donkey. We're going to... Oh, he'll settle for an Italian turtle impersonation again. The turtles don't talk. Seriously, every time I came across a turtle, and that one time when I was fishing and I hooked him, like when he came out of the water, it doesn't make a noise. Like it doesn't say ow, it doesn't bark, it doesn't whine. All it did was just move its feet. I mean, if I'm a turtle and I got a hook in my mouth and it's kind of bleeding a little bit, I'd be like, what the fuck, man? I mean, I don't know. I guess turtles don't have voice boxes, but I'm going to do Don the Donkey. Seriously. But anyway, overall, I thought this pay-per-view was good. I don't know if I would say it was very good. I thought Bray versus Randy Orton was very creative. The melting of the mannequin... I know some of you aren't used to that extreme measures with special effects and everything, but, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you know the Fiend is not dead, and remember, it's a monster. Look at every horror film. You've seen some of these horror characters we talk about over the years. You've seen them get set on fire. You've seen them get stabbed, shot, thrown out of this, and they keep coming back. That's what monsters do. So Bray Wyatt as the Fiend... I don't know if I'm Bray Wyatt, though. I don't know if I would have been on Twitter tonight, though, just to be honest with you. I probably would have went dark for maybe a week or two. I guess the reason why Bray came out tonight and on Twitter and thanked everybody is for two reasons. One, appreciation, because it seems like everybody really enjoyed this match. It's from my early viewing online, it seems like the overwhelming audience enjoyed it. I think the second reason why Bray may have come out on Twitter that quickly is because, you know, some people out there, I mean, look, we're in 2020. We're in 21st century where special effects is beautiful. You know, just making like mannequins. I mean, look, you put the Fiend mask on. You don't have to, I mean, obviously you're not going to see a face. It's a mask. So you get like a mannequin, you change the shape, you set it up in the ring. I mean, you know, it looked great. If you looked at Bray Wyatt's hands, because see me, I get a little morbid with that stuff. I see Bray Wyatt on fire in the ring. I want to see if there's any skin visible on the outfits. No, there wasn't. All you saw was gloves. And the jacket, the arms on the jacket was overlapping because they didn't want you to see there was a mannequin. I don't think anybody out there expected a live person. And when a live person gets set on fire, there's usually somebody there with a fire extinguisher immediately. And I will say this in storyline. I'll say this in storyline. Adam Pearce in storyline shows up for every little goddamn fart that happens on WWE programming when there's shit going down. Randy Orton already won the match. Where are all the referees? They're having a smoke break? They're vaping? Where's Adam Pearce? Was he outside buying ice cream? Like, how come nobody comes to the ring? I'll do it for tonight. No, Randy! No! No, Randy! No! Where was everybody? That's why I honestly think people are still into Don the Donkey. You know, hey, what the fuck you doing, man? Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Don the Donkey. Hey, if you're enjoying the show tonight, I really appreciate it if you give it a, hit that like button. This is going to turn into something horrible. And you could all thank Anthony Diaz for that. You sick freak. Ken terminated by DQ. Hurt Business as the Silver Dollar Evolution. I think that's a little harsh. I think the Hurt Business... You know, we've had other groups over the years that were classy wearing suits and everything. Sure, the Four Horsemen, I don't really recall. No, I do recall Arn Anderson wearing a suit. I recall Tully wearing a suit. No, they wore suits, but Rick's always had to stand out. You've had groups over the years when people, are a little bit snappy with their attire. The Hurt Business... I don't compare them to Evolution. I understand what you're saying. I wouldn't put MVP as the Flair, and I wouldn't put Cedric as the Randy Orton. But you know what? I could see Lashley as the Batista. So it's not bad, but I wouldn't compare. I think that's a little unfair. I think this group is not trying to be an Evolution and not trying to be a Horseman. They're just trying to be, themselves. So I like how it's turned out. I mean, in 2020, there are some parts of wrestling, you look back on it, individual wrestlers, storylines, the way some of the things have gone down, and it hasn't been all that spectacular. But I think you can honestly look back at 2020 and say, you know what? The Hurt Business was good for WWE programming. I think if you look back at 2020 and say, okay, if you could either keep this person on TV or take them off for the whole year, I'm sure there's quite a few people that you would come up with. I think the Hurt Business have done a fine job. And you know what? Good for them that they close out 2020 with 3 of the 4 guys having gold. Because I honestly think, especially in the early on when we had that horrible storyline with Lashley and Lana and Rusev, who's now in AEW, Lashley had as much as you may not realize it, Lashley had a lot of repairing to do because of what they did. Just think about what he was doing before. I mean, it's a complete drastic change of what his character was at the beginning of 2020. Cedric has worked on his in-ring work and his character and just the way he comes off, and it's working. MVP, I don't, like I said, I don't think anybody in a million years would have ever thought MVP would have fit in this great. And Shelton is Shelton. I mean, a lot of us have been wanting to see Shelton being utilized a little bit better. And we've had it. We've had it for many months now. So I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it. So Dylan List, Cool Duder, talk trash me about me. Do I hate Duder? I don't even know who Cool Duder is. Who is Cool Duder? Is Cool Duder have like a podcast or something? You don't have to super chat that, but I don't know who that is. Honestly, man, Benjamin says it's Ken's dad. I don't know who Cool Duder is. Michael Gonzalez says 15 years too late for Shelton. Look, man, let me say it like this. Shelton is still in phenomenal shape. Shelton proved tonight, he didn't have to prove it tonight, but Shelton reminded everyone the guy could still go as good as people 15 years younger than him. Them winning tag titles does not suddenly put Shelton in main event status. Shelton Benjamin is a fine compliment to the overall roster, and he's being utilized the right way right now. I would not say Shelton should be IC champ. Shelton should go for this. What they're doing right now, that's fine. And that's why I don't think it's 15 years too late. 15 years too late with what? Yeah, Muhammad, Muhammad, you don't like when I make sounds. You're the same one that got really angry when I edge. Yeah, no, but I agree with you. No more donkey sounds tonight. One more. That's it. I promise, no more. You have my word. God honest, no more donkey sounds tonight. Yeah, so I have no idea who this person is. Honestly, man, I'm trying to keep that noise out there and try not to bring it into the shows no more. Believe me when I tell you, I'm working my ass off. I get urges to say stuff, and my instinct is to just say it, and I'm stopping myself many times. And the more I stop myself, the more it'll just go away. So no, we'll do the donkey another time. But other than that, my favorite match tonight, easily Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Because you follow the shows on a weekly basis. You know what I've said about those two. And like I said earlier about storylines and suspension of disbelief, it was difficult. It was difficult with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. Because that was even more, as far as like out of balance. Like you knew there was no way Jey Uso was beating Roman Reigns. But it was also very early in the character development of Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens, even more, because Roman Reigns now has a bunch of months under his belt building this tribal chief head of the table character. So the stronger that character becomes, the more difficult it is to do suspension of disbelief that somebody else could possibly win against him. So something's got to happen where somebody beats Roman Reigns. Non-title, maybe tag match, something. There's got to be some pin, roll up, something where Roman Reigns is just shocked and Michael Cole is losing his shit because that's got to come. We'll see who it ends up being. But Michael, I don't even know if sharks make noise. I'm not going to do no more animal sounds for tonight. But Austin says Reigns and Owens was match of the night. Yeah, my favorite match tonight, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. And honestly, I give it match of the night. See, it's really hard to look at Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. But that was more spectacle and storyline than the actual, because this was tables, ladders, and chairs. That match was not tables, ladders, and chairs. So the theme of the pay-per-view was tables, ladders, and chairs. But, I mean, my second favorite match would be Randy Orton versus The Fiend. Early on, I think people were complaining like, where's the fire? Remember they said that the fire was going to be all around the building? Remember those reports last week? Oh, no, they're going to have fire all around the building. I'm like, wait a minute. This is not like a little arena. This is Tropicana Field. I mean, you do fire. Could you imagine if Bray Wyatt lit gasoline all around Tropicana Field? He would have to run like a marathon. Like 3 hours later, you would see him like running through the tape like, oh, I made it around the whole... That's nuts. That sounded ridiculous last week. And thank God everything was done. I thought it was excellent the way they did it. Excellent. Yeah, Lone Wolf, it's my show. I could do what I want. Of course I can. But, I try to please everybody here. So we got plenty of months, days, years, weeks to goof around. But I want to finish up the pay-per-view recap. Remember, tomorrow I'll be right back here with Mish for Breakfast Soup Raw. And remember, no show this Friday. I will be spending Christmas with family. But as of right now, I will be here New Year's Eve. Probably going to start at either 9 or 10 p.m. And if I start around 10 p.m. Eastern, then it's going to be 10, 10, 10. I'm going to start at 10 p.m. at 10 seconds. Because a lot of you thought that was pretty cool. And I will ring in the new year with everyone who is home, not doing anything. Sorry, I just can't watch TV and Justin Bieber simulcast on YouTube. I've seen honeymooners marathons way too many years. So it looks like I will have the official word by the middle of this week or by Monday next week. But yeah, New Year's Eve, I will be here. From 10 until probably like 1 in the morning. We'll ring in the new year together. I will have champagne here. Somebody might even make a little appearance just saying hello to everybody. And then following that, it looks more and more that I will be doing a live show every Thursday here, just live chat. Like right now, we're just chatting about whatever. That will be the Thursday theme. So, and it won't have to all have to do with wrestling. So we'll build as we go along. We're going to start taking calls very shortly. Got a little announcements going on. So Dylan List also asks, what is Dylan asking me here? Is there an episode where I talk about what happened with my old host? Not really. I mean, if you want me to say, I mean, it's not a secret and it's not causing controversy. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not like, it's just... long story short, for about 2 years plus, a lot of stuff has been said behind my back from a lot of people that I knew about. And me, I sincerely apologize to all of you out there because for the last couple of years, when I go back and I think about it, I'm kind of embarrassed myself. But I noticed for the last couple of years, almost every other show I would say, that, there's a lot of people that talk shit about my back and there's a lot of haters out there that they smile to. How many times did I say that people smile to my face and they stab me in the back and say a lot of nasty shit behind the scenes? I didn't realize how often I would say that on the shows because it really, really started building up inside. And what was happening is wasn't any one person, but that person was one of many, that there was a lot of people who were supportive of me to my face and saying a lot of stuff behind my back, DMs, Facebook DMs, Twitter messages. And over the last 2.5 years, people were sending me screenshots. And every single person would say, look, please, you can't post this. Because even if you don't mention my name, that person will know that I put them out there. Because what you have all noticed, and I've said this many times, is people have a weird thing that they get angry at the messenger and not the message. So somebody says some really horrible stuff about you, and instead of getting mad at the stuff that was said, they get mad at the person who said it. So everybody would say to me, DT, you got to promise me you do not say anything because that person will know that I gave it to you and then I have to deal with it. So I would say, no, you got my trust. That's one thing that I've built for 23, 24 years doing this stuff is trust. My trust is my bond. Going back to XPW bus trips, and I gave everybody their money back out of my own pocket, and I maxed out my credit cards to give everybody refunds because my trust is my bond. So long story short, earlier this year, we decided we were going to do our show together on Patreon on Tuesday nights. Mondays were getting very, very mundane. It was not easy to talk about certain topics. It's not easy to talk about AEW when one half of the show doesn't watch AEW. It was just not easy. A lot of topics weren't working. So we were going to do the show on a Tuesday. And we did like 1 or 2 episodes on Tuesday. And the person even said publicly, like, you know, I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying the vibe. I didn't think I was going to like this, but I'm really enjoying this. And the same day that was said publicly, that person sent a DM to someone saying that I'm digging a hole, that I'm a pussy. And look, the screenshot of the tweet is on my Twitter. But the thing was, I'm like, man, you know, like I've been getting these DMs for 2+ years, different people saying shit. It wasn't any one person, but a lot of people have been saying stuff about me. So at the same time, I think we're building on a Tuesday night show. At the same time, this is being said publicly, this is being said behind my back. And this person was the first person that said to me, you could put it publicly. That's fine. You could put my name out there, or just don't mention my name, but you could put it out there. So I put it out there. That person was the first person out of everybody who sent me DMs from other podcasters, other websites, other, you know, Facebook, Twitter accounts. This was the first person that said to me, yeah, you could put it out there. So I put it out there. And what happened? Exactly what I thought it was going to happen. Everybody got angry at the person who gave me the DM. Not angry of the shit that was said about me, but angry at the person who sent it to me. And that's when I realized, okay, if that's how this person feels, okay, no more shows. Now on Patreon, we do 1 show a month. Next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, it's going to be Kev, myself, and Mish. You know, look, there's no anger, there's no animosity, but, you know, I've been doing so much of the legwork for 13, 14 years. And when you record and post and do everything except for talk, and then this is what you're getting, you know, behind the scenes for a while, you know what I mean? It gets to a point where you're like, I want to enjoy myself. I want to have fun with all of you. I want to laugh. You know, and you know what the worst part about it is? I don't want to name any names, but there's some people out there who know exactly what happened. But whenever somebody asked him, oh, what happened to DTKC? You know what they say? Oh, he wanted to go to video, and this guy didn't want to go to video. That's not what happened at all. What happened was somebody's been talking a lot of stuff behind my back, and I knew about it for a long time, and I would give subliminal messages on the shows, but it would continue. And finally, someone said to me, go ahead and post it. So I posted it, and that was the breaking point. I don't hate anybody. I enjoy these shows, but the bottom line is I want to enjoy these shows and have fun. So I'm not going to enjoy the shows and have fun doing a show with someone that is saying one thing publicly and saying something behind the scenes. That's all that happened. You know, I don't have a hit out on this guy. You know, I don't hate him. I don't wish bad, but I realize, you know, I got to do what's good for me. You know, I mean, when we launched this in January, I mean, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of support. And as people were saying to me publicly, oh, this is awesome, good luck, man, this and that. A week later, I get a DM from someone like, oh, that person wished you good luck, huh? Go check this out. And it would be the total opposite. So many people wanted this channel to fail. They wanted me to fail. And honestly, it does the opposite effect. You know, I just want to have fun here and laugh and talk wrestling, talk non-wrestling. I had somebody the other day, check this out. Friday, I was doing SmackDown recap. Somebody super chatted me Friday about how 14 million Americans next year are going to face eviction. Number one, out of respect, the person gave me a couple of dollars to talk about something like that. And I even joked and I said, look, since we're talking about Roman Reigns, let's talk about unemployed Americans. To make a joke like, okay, it didn't fit with what I was talking about, but I talked about it. This person who is a patron, and I respect the guy, but this person who's a patron went and wrote this whole thing on our Patreon page that he cut his membership in half, that he doesn't like that I talk about things that don't have to do about wrestling, and I talk about this and about that. And I'm like, I try to please everybody. But if you're going to dangle in front of my face that, oh, I can't talk about this and I'm going to drop this, then leave. You know, there's so many podcasts out there. If you don't like something, then leave. There's nothing else I could do. Then, you know, I talk about New Year's Eve. And I say, hey, everybody, you know, it sucks. In New York City, they're not dropping the ball this year in front of millions there. Obviously, for health reasons, I agree with it. But a ton of you are going to be home New Year's Eve doing nothing. Neither am I. And it's a little depressing at what 2020 has done. So I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll do a live stream here. A few of you asked about it, and I said it, and a lot of people enjoyed it. And then somebody says to me, yeah, but this person's doing their show on Thursday night, and you're going to screw that person over. And I'm like, here, this is exactly what happened in January. People want me not to do things that I want to do and enjoy myself so other people could do stuff. So that's what happened. There's no controversy. There's no drama. I don't think about it anymore. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't know the truth. And other people out there want to tell, you know, these versions that make no sense, that are not true. And I always say to people out there, if you want to know the reason why, come to me and I'll tell you. But the reason why I don't bring it up on these shows is it's a dead issue. I don't want to keep bringing it up. So, you know, hopefully that cleared up a few things, but there was no episode, didn't talk shit. I know somebody, you know, out there kind of, you know, is trying to get, you know, people to like say things. They just want drama. They want controversy. I don't want it. No, nobody else in the podcast family that we've done wants that. And like I said, next Tuesday, Mish, Kev, and myself are going to be on Patreon doing a live Q&A and a bunch of other stuff, looking back at 2020. There's no hatred. But like I said, the shows would be 1,000 times better on Mondays if multiple hosts watched the same things, followed the same things, and, you know, that's it. So anyway, so before I go, let me, once again, favorite match of the night. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, or The Fiend versus Randy Orton. I'm gonna stick with it, man. Even though I enjoyed the creativity, you know, the burning of the mannequin is more figurative than literal. It's a monster. You can't kill a monster. That's the storyline. Just like I said on Friday with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, never say die. That's the storyline with Kevin Owens in his feud. Guy will not quit, will not stop. That's why I didn't want to debate with Mish, because I knew we were under some time constraints tonight. But you see the sleeper? I respect Mish, and we disagree on a lot of stuff. And I love to debate him and disagree because he doesn't take it personal. And we have fun. We kind of look forward to challenging each other. But Mish, if you hear this, much love, my brother, but I'll tell you why I totally disagree with how you felt about the sleeper to Kevin Owens. This is just opinion. After I say this, you all are more than welcome to, in the comment section, tell me you agree or disagree. But this is how I looked at it tonight. Yes, the finish was kind of blah. After everything, yes, I wanted to see Kevin Owens with that final spot, the spot that just put him out. But I'll tell you why I feel WWE did that finish tonight. If you follow the whole storyline, what we talked about on Friday, you have to kill Kevin Owens to get him to stop. You put him through 10 tables, he still gets up. You bury him under 50 chairs, he still gets up. You beat him down, you beat him down, you beat him down, he still gets up. That's why Roman Reigns was laughing in storyline when he was climbing the ladder and Kevin Owens went back in the ring, and Roman Reigns is laughing like, I can't, this guy, what's he won't leave me alone, just go away. So the whole that he will not quit, he will not stop. You put him to sleep, that's beyond his control. It's just science, you know, wrestling science. You put him in a sleeper hold. All right, if you're not awake, then you can't, like, keep getting up. That's why they did the sleeper, in my opinion. They didn't want to put him through 10 tables. They didn't want to do some crazy-ass spot. They could have done something dopey where you remember they did that once? They put the forklift and they dropped it down on the person so the person couldn't get out and was just trapped. But they didn't want to do that. So Kevin Owens won't stay down for all the other abuse. So put him to sleep. Not literally, but sleeper move. So that's why they did that, in my opinion. So, but worst match of the night, I tell you, man, I'm not trying to be PC. I know I've evolved on a lot of things. So I don't like saying worst match of the night because I don't think there was any worst match. There wasn't any bad match. Look, if a match really sucks or if it really was underwhelmed, I'll just say it. But for me, my least favorite match or the match that I liked the least tonight, I don't count the pre-show because the pre-show is the pre-show. Pre-show is just to warm everybody up and give a little bit of, a match to a few people who have been working hard. So as far as the pay-per-view itself, I know you people are going to probably get especially after the rant that I said earlier, but the match that I probably liked the least, Asuka and Charlotte versus Nia Jax and Shayna. Because if WWE would have teased more friction with Asuka or Charlotte, or if they would have teased more of a cohesive unit between Asuka and Charlotte, then I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But when they had Asuka getting beat down for most of the night, and then Charlotte was not able to hit the ring. Charlotte didn't even have any offense on anyone else. Like, if that was old school, the minute Charlotte hit the ring, she would have attacked Asuka. Or when Asuka finally gets the opportunity to tag, Charlotte drops down and walks away. That I kind of would have enjoyed a little bit more. But again, I have no problem with Charlotte getting the title tonight because of the the current status of the women's division, especially on Raw. Give it to your go-to person. I know people don't like Charlotte, but I am a huge fan of Charlotte. Absolutely love her work, and I have zero problem with her getting that title. When people say, "Oh, she didn't earn it," and this and that, I strongly disagree. The women's division, yes, it's more WWE's fault than anything else, but the women's division has not been a high point on WWE. Plus, if you look at the quarter-hour rating, I don't focus on the quarter-hour ratings on Mondays, but the quarter-hour ratings on Raw tell an interesting story, especially when you get into the women's. They're not popping numbers. But the only thing that we didn't say tonight, I have a feeling Nia and Shayna are going to feud. I have this feeling that on Monday, you're going to see one of them get mad at the other for for losing. And I have a feeling we may even see a match on Raw between Nia and Shayna. And if you see Nia and Shayna battle on Raw, that just tells you that WWE is not interested in that storyline all that much. I'm not saying that they're going to have a total split, but I have a feeling you're going to see a pull apart on Raw tomorrow night. So yeah, I kind of feel like Charlotte and Asuka versus Shayna and Nia, I didn't mind the outcome, but I wasn't connecting in the match. It was great to see Charlotte back. No question. But I don't know. I want to see the dynamic when Lana comes back and she's got that puss on her face that title should have been hers, and she actually thinks that. And I could just picture Charlotte just putting her down. And then this is little by little bringing Charlotte back to what Charlotte does best. Trash talk, be a nasty son of a bitch, and then ultimately you'll see that Charlotte back. Right now it's the feel good because she's making a return. I don't think that lasts all that long. So, no, you want to know something stylish? I don't think Nia and Shayna were buried at all because nobody gave that tag team any chance. Not everybody, but a lot of people just from day one didn't accept Nia and Shayna as the tag champions. I loved it. I loved it. I am very happy for Shayna Baszler adapting to the main roster. And Nia Jax, yes, I know about all this stuff. I mean, there's no denying some of the injuries that have happened in the past, but I think Nia has definitely improved a little bit. And guess what? By having a tag match, Nia not having to do every bit of the work in the match that she could tag out, that kind of like hides a little bit of Nia's negative as well. So I actually enjoyed that tag team, and I hope it doesn't split. But I don't feel they're buried. I don't think they're buried. I think it's just a case that, it was time for a change. You know, Charlotte is back. And you know what? I have a feeling that people would have been more angry if Charlotte would be feuding with Asuka for that women's championship right away, instead of them being the champions. If they would have had Charlotte return and attack Asuka, people would have been like, oh my God, Charlotte comes back and they're already putting her in a title hunt. What about all these other people? That's what would have happened. I think you would have more complaints if that would have happened instead. Ken says that as far as Hurt Business goes, do I think the Hurt Business should go after the 24/7 title or the world title like Evolution? No, because Lashley already has a title. If Lashley didn't have a title, then I would be interested to see Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. But since Lashley already has the U.S. title, I thought that was a great idea, Mish said earlier. Have MVP win the 24/7 title for a couple of weeks, pose where every person has a belt. I think that would be a pretty cool photo, because you open up 2020. Let's be honest, opening up 2020. Did any of you out there think that MVP would be back and have a title? 24/7 title, not all that great, but did you ever think he could be back and have that title? Number two, at the beginning of 2020, with all the stuff they were doing with Lashley, did you think that he would close out 2020 being, just totally rebuilt, repaired his character, and be the United States champion? You look at Cedric Alexander. Did anybody ever think that he would, at the beginning of the year, did you ever think he would close out 2020 being one half of the tag team champions and people overall happy with that? I mean, that's a lot. And Shelton, you kind of feel bad for, because we've always felt that Shelton, for many years, that WWE has not utilized him as good as they could. And to see him finally get a little bit of acknowledgement and getting some gold under his waist again, on his waist, I don't think anybody would have ever thought 2020 would have closed out as good as it has for all four members of the Hurt Business. So I think MVP 24/7 title. You know what? I have MVP even do it maybe at the Slammies. If you want to do it sooner, you do it sooner on Raw. But since R-Truth is hosting the Slammies Wednesday, let's see if the Slammy Award wins the 24/7 title. Can you imagine somebody pins? I could picture this. Pretend this is a Slammy Award. Could you picture this now? Am I wrong when I say this? Let's say it's Tozawa, and Tozawa's got the Slammy Award, and he puts the Slammy Award. Technically, he's not putting his hands on him. It's actually the Slammy Award. Could you imagine that dopey shit if they said the Slammy Award won the title? It's an inanimate object. But you're going to probably see some 24/7 changes. And you know what? I got news for you. The more I think about it, if R-Truth is going to host the Slammy Awards and they don't want to do title changes, then have R-Truth. R-Truth is still the 24/7 champion, right? I think he is. Have R-Truth drop the belt on Monday. This way, when he hosts the Slammy Awards, he has no title. We don't have to worry about any dumb antics going on during the day. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm looking at the chat room. I think we're going to wrap this up. Great conversation tonight, everyone. Kept it around 2 hours. Nice convo at the end. And remember, Mish and I will be back here in less than 24 hours for Breakfast Soup Raw. we're going to have that discussion about, that nonsense last week with the Raw rating being so low. We'll cover Raw. We got a few other topics we're going to get into. We're probably going to do what I said on Friday. We're going to give our choices as far as the picks on the Slammy Awards and who we think WWE is going to choose. Talked about a little bit on Friday. Some of you had some great, answers to that. But much love as always. Thank you, SoFly, and everybody else, Teen Gaming, all of you. So as I say always, before you go, if you enjoyed the show, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button. I know, and trust me, I now watch tons of YouTube videos, and I see every single person, right? Hit that like button. Subscribe. Hit the little bell. And you have almost everybody now has the special effects. Ding, ding. So, but I get it. If you hit the like button, it's you telling YouTube that you like this clip and you recommend it. And the more that happens, the more this gets recommended to other people out there. And trust me, after all of these years, 24 years, it's still awesome to see all of you show up. But it's also awesome to have people show up and say, hey, man, new viewer of your show, never heard of it before. Did you see Karrion Kross with the nice little, rub, a little bit of love our way? I don't know who the wrestler was. I don't remember his name, but he said, do you recommend any podcast out there? And Karrion Kross responded on Twitter and said yours truly. Said Kevin and a few others, Conan and others, but actually said my shows. And I thought that was pretty cool. Thought that was awesome. Because trust me when I tell you, especially old Don Tony, that was much nastier, and I used to, with the tongue-in-cheek humor, how many of you remember that? Back in that day, if you revealed that you were a fan or a follower of my work, people would curse you out. What are you, crazy? What are you, nuts? That guy's this, that guy's that. What are you, crazy? So for him to put it out there like that, I thought that was awesome, man. Felt good. Felt really good. Guardian Chaos, shout out to you, my brother, as always. And that's it, Look, man, I like Kross. Obviously, I'm a huge supporter of his, and I'm happy he's back. But, the one thing that he always said, why, he's been enjoying my shows before he even got into wrestling, just so you know. But the one thing that he always loved, and it's one of the biggest compliments I could ever get, but it's my mantra, is I tell it like it is. I don't gush. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't try to do things for, obviously I want all your support, but I'm honest with it. I lose friends, and it's not the most popular thing to do. But even with his return, even the stuff with Keith Lee at the time, when I get into the ratings and I dissect the quarter hours, some people out there towards Karrion Kross, they think he returned 3 million viewers. And last week, his quarter hour, the ratings went down a little bit. That's not his fault. He just came back. WWE does not advertise this shit all that much. Oh, Karrion Kross is returning in action. They don't tell you who he's going to face. So he's not going to face anybody substantial on the roster. So it's got to take some time. He wasn't even around all that long, the first run. So, I'd say it straight out. I don't say that because I'm not a fan and I don't say that because, he may not like if you say that. No, I just tell it like it is, I'm not going to, he's back, world champion. That's it. The storyline, he should have went right for the title because he had to give it up when he got injured. But, I'm not going to be one of these people, he's back. That's it. Finn Balor, just hand the title now. Whatever. No, it's got to play out on TV. At the end of the day, it's still sports entertainment. The storyline has to play out to lead to Karrion Kross being champion again. You don't just hand him the belt because some people will lose their shit on social media because they're so infatuated. No, that's not how it works. You got to be honest about it. That's how I look at it. So, but anyway, I'm going to jet out of here. I rambled for a couple of minutes because we're right under the 2-hour mark, and I really enjoy when I put up the shows and it's exactly 2 hours or exactly 90 minutes. I hate it when it goes 2 hours and 2 minutes or 2 hours and 1 minute. I like it when it's exact. So we're going to finish the show tonight at exactly 2 hours. And, yeah. Oh, and yeah, CMed. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus will be the next feud, in my opinion. It's got to be. It's got to be. Sheamus, either he turns on Drew or they have some type of faux pas or falling out, another brawl or something. And we'll see. I just don't know if I want Sheamus to just flat out turn, because then you'll have Keith Lee and Riddle and others. See, we told you. We knew he was a snake. We knew. I don't need to see skits like that. These are grown-ass men. You know, they shouldn't be showing up, oh, you're going to turn on your friend. You're not. Motherfucker, worry about your own backyard. In storyline, obviously. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, everybody. Much love as always. I thank you for the kind words. I will catch you all again Monday night, 11:05 p.m. Eastern, right after Raw. And Mish, my brother, thank you for coming on as well tonight. Sorry we didn't have him on video, but you will tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Much love. Ciao.